Okay, so hopefully you've seen, or at least the first of my other two videos I've done today regarding my discussion about Labor's proposed changes to negative gearing and the capital gains tax discount. So this time around I'll go back to talking about the housing affordability issue, housing crisis. Putting aside Sydney for the moment, bearing in mind, or keeping in perspective, Sydney I believe represents less than 20% of the country's population. It's still a lot, but it's not the only thing that needs to be considered. Across the rest of the country, do you really honestly believe there's a housing affordability problem? How many people do you know who have genuine sources of income, who are financially responsible, who would be a good person for a bank to lend money to, who can't afford to buy a house, and who most likely can't afford to buy, frankly, a really nice house, certainly a very nice, luxurious house on a world scale? I really don't know too many. Anyone who meets that criteria that I know own a house. Certainly WA, and I'm sure that's the case in South Australia, the NT, Queensland, Tasmania, and probably most of Victoria and most of New South Wales outside of Sydney. Maybe the issue is they don't have that good steady income. Maybe they don't have that job. You know, there's a lot of Uber drivers out there, and I know a lot of Uber drivers do it because they want to, but a lot of them do it because they haven't been able to get a job or keep a job. So the biggest issue here is jobs. And I've already talked about how I think these tax laws ultimately help create jobs, and the changing them might affect that. So yeah, if that's the reason people can't afford to buy a home, because they don't have the right type of job, well enough earning job, then you don't want negative gearing to be taken away. My own personal example is looking at my businesses and the people who work for me. You know, CapitalQ, everyone from the receptionist up to my senior client manager, apart from the very youngest couple, they all own property, regardless of their income. And in a lot of the cases, very, very nice properties. I should say in most, all. They all own very nice homes that they should be proud of and very grateful for, and they are. Don't get me wrong. They've had some decisions to make, though. You know, if they've wanted to live close to the office, close to the city, then they've had to lower their expectations in terms of how new and how luxurious their home will be. If they're not prepared to give up those advantages, then they've purchased further out. They have more of a commute, and so they've had to make a small sacrifice. But they get literally a brand new, glorious, luxurious house. You know, multiple bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, entertainment areas, all the things. You know, the envy of the world sort of stuff. And as I say, that's at the varying income levels up and down. They're able to make it happen. And I know that in my other business, even though it's in an industry where the employees are not, frankly, highly paid, the majority of them, that want to get into their homes, they're in their homes. The workforce is reasonably young, so there's a lot of young people who haven't gone down that path yet, but there's plenty of them that have, even on what are modest incomes. And I struggle to believe that's not the case right across the country. In Sydney, yeah, it's definitely a lot more difficult. I mentioned earlier video, it's comparable to New York, London, Paris. Awful lot of people in those cities, they don't own properties in the cities, they rent. That's just the way it is. Or they commute a really long way to get in and out every day. When I lived in London, the majority of the people I worked for, if they weren't Aussies or Kiwis renting in London, if they were locals, then they lived outside of London, often outside of Greater London, and they commuted an hour, even 2 hours to and from work every day. It was just the norm, it's just the way it is. I know the same thing happens in New York. So, I don't want people living in Sydney to, I don't want to tell them to suck eggs, but, you're in a place where it's very much in demand, and maybe some sacrifices need to be made in terms of how you go about living, which I know you know because you're all doing that anyway. Ever think about what your parents did with their first properties? They made sacrifices in order to make it happen. They didn't get to buy right near the CBD or on the beach, especially not first time. Yeah, my parents, when I was 8, they wanted to live near the CBD. They'd worked in the CBD, so they wanted to be nearby. So they had to lower their expectations, and boy did they do that. So, sorry, Mum and Dad, but the place they bought when I was 8, it was a dump. Even then, at age 8, I wondered, was it fit for human habitation? It was not great. Sorry, Mum and Dad, again. But what I will say is it got them in the area they wanted to be, got their foot in the door, and then they worked their butts off for the next 10 years to turn it into a magical family home, which they really did. Fantastic. So, it's not like it was ever any easier. Their parents before them, first houses were purchased in regional Australia, and then they worked their way back in. So have a think about, do you really think it was any easier for former generations? I don't think so. I think it's meant to be easy. You're meant to earn it. You've got to earn the right. And I don't accept that we should all just have this, that we're all just entitled to just walk straight into our big, beautiful, luxurious house 5 minutes from work. It's not the right way. Okay, that'll do for now.